SpaceX just went public and everyone is losing their minds. Everyone keeps asking, should I buy? Is it too late? Did I miss out? Blah, 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 blah. Losing their minds completely. But here's my answer, and it's a very simple answer. I'm not touching it. At least not yet. And before you come at me in the comments, let me explain, because this is not a hot take. This position that I've taken is backed by decades of academic research. And once you hear it, you will never look at an IPO the same way again. Well, today we are breaking down my 5 reasons why I don't invest in IPOs. And I'm using SpaceX as the case study for every single one. So let's get into it. So SpaceX, or Space Exploration Technologies Corp, is one of the most hyped IPOs in years. So Elon Musk, Rocket, Starlink, Mars, the whole thing, very hyped. And look, I'm not saying SpaceX is a bad company. I'm genuinely impressed by what they've built. But there's a huge difference between a great company and a great investment at IPO price. Big difference. That distinction is everything. That difference is where the value lies. And most retail investors, they get that thing wrong. Now, here's what most people don't realize. Not buying at IPO, it doesn't mean you're missing out on a great stock. You can always buy later, after the IPO hype cools down, after the real financial data has come out, after the market has done its job of pricing the business. That's my whole philosophy. So let's start with the most basic misunderstanding. When you hear SpaceX IPO, you picture buying in at the IPO price and then riding the rocket ship all the way to Mars, right? That's really what you're expecting. But here's actually what happens when you get shares at IPO price. Institutional investors, like people like big banks, hedge funds, and venture capitalists, people who have been there since they did the Series B funding, by the time that stock hits the public markets, the moment you actually click buy, the value has already gone up. And that's the pop that we're talking about. It looks like a gain for the company, but it's actually a gain for all the institutions who have been there before you. It's a gain for those who have actually flipped their shares to you. And there's a research from Jay Ritter, who is a finance professor at the University of Florida. And this person, Jay Ritter, this guy has tracked IPO data going back to the 1970s. And his research shows that on average, IPOs pop about 18% on the first day. But that gain goes almost entirely to people who got in there before you could. And so for retail investors buying at market open, you're already chasing the back end. You're already on the back end. You're already on the back foot. Now with SpaceX specifically, given the brand power, given the Musk factor, given the Starlink story, that day one pop is already huge, which means that if you're buying at market open, you're already paying a significant premium over what the insiders paid. Okay, so maybe you missed the pop. Can you still hold long term and win? Valid question, and I get the question. Now, here's the data. Here's what the data actually shows. And this is where it gets really interesting. Jay Ritter's long-term IPO research, and this has been replicated by multiple academics over different papers, shows that the average IPO performance, the average IPO actually underperforms comparable public companies by 3 to 4% per year over the first 3 to 5 years after listing. Think about that for a minute and just let it sink. It doesn't underperform occasionally. It underperforms on average consistently. And why? I'll give you a few reasons and we'll talk about it now. The big one is simple. IPO prices are set by investment banks, and those people's job is to maximize the amount of money raised for the company and for their fees. They're not trying to find a good bargain for you. There's like an inherent conflict of interest baked into the entire process because the investment banks, their fees are tied to the IPO prices. They also get bonuses around it. For SpaceX, this problem is amplified. Like, this problem is on a different scale. The hype around this company is generational. It's on a different level. And the investment banks that priced this deal, they know that. They know that there's a lot of hype around SpaceX. And they extracted every dollar of premium they possibly could from this hype. But this doesn't mean that SpaceX won't be a great stock eventually. I mean, it's SpaceX. It's a big company. It means that the price you pay on day one is likely to reflect maximum optimism and not reality. Big difference. And here's the thing. Part of why banks can overprice IPOs so easily is that there's almost no public data to push back against them, which brings us to reason number 3. One of my core investing rules is this. I want to see how a company actually performs under the pressure of public markets before I hand over my money. It's a very simple rule. Now, when a company goes public, you get a prospectus, and that prospectus is a document that the company files with the SEC, and it pretty much lays out their entire business. It talks about their risks and their financials. That prospectus, it is written by lawyers hired by the company, reviewed by bankers who want this deal to close, and is fundamentally, that prospectus is essentially a sales document. What you don't have yet is multiple years of earnings calls, analyst scrutiny, quarterly results that can be compared to guidance and investment advice, and the kinds of pressure testing that only happens when management has to answer to public shareholders every 3 months. Now, SpaceX is an extreme example of this. They've operated privately for over 2 decades. We have some revenue figures from Starlink subscriber estimates and launch contracts, but not the kind of granular, audited, scrutinized financial history that lets you build a confident valuation model on this company. And so after they spent like 2 or 3 years as a public company, you would have all of that information. You would have earnings surprises, margin trends, Starlink churn rates, launch costs, and all of that will be in public domain. But right now, you're actually flying blind, and the stock is priced for perfection. And we know perfection doesn't exist. But even after the IPO settles, there's another landmine that people don't see coming, and I'll tell you about it. When a company goes public, insiders, and I'm talking people like founders, early employees, venture capital funds, they are typically restricted from selling their shares for about 90 to 180 days. And this is what we call the lockup period. And sometimes this lockup period extends even further than 180 days. Sometimes it goes as far as 270 days, sometimes even a year, depending on what the situation is. And why is this relevant? Why does this matter to you? Because the moment that lockup expires, you often see a wave of selling. People who got in years before at a fraction of the price, they now have the legal right to cash out. They now have the legal right to sell their shares. And many of them actually do. Studies published in the Journal of Financial Economics have shown that stocks frequently drop meaningfully around the lockup expiration date as that insider supply floods the markets. For SpaceX, think about how many early employees, how many angel investors, how many venture capital firms have been sitting on paper gains for a decade or more. The lockup expiry could create an enormous selling pressure simply by the virtue of many stocks hitting the market at the same time. My strategy is actually quite simple. I plan to wait until after lockup expiry, let that supply hit the market, let the price settle down first, and then I would evaluate with clear eyes and see where the price is. And this is a very simple edge that most IPO chasers, they completely ignore. They don't consider this lockup period. And all of this comes back to one thing that I think gets lost in all the hype. This is the most important point, and it is one I want you to walk away with. The FOMO around IPOs is completely manufactured. If you don't get in at IPO, you are not missing anything. Trust me, you are not losing out on anything. Historically, missing an IPO has really meant that you've missed the stock. Amazon went public in 1997. The people who missed Amazon's IPO and they bought 2 years later, they still made generational wealth after they've seen how the business is working. So by buying 2 years after IPO, they still made a lot of money. The point is not to buy at the starting gun. The point is to buy a great business at a responsible price with enough information to be confident. Remember those key things. So if you didn't buy SpaceX at IPO, it doesn't mean you can never own SpaceX. You can buy in 6 months, you can buy in a year. In fact, in 2 years, you can buy at a better price with audited earnings, with rich subscriber data from Starlink, and with a record of management delivering on what they promised. The market will still be there on Monday, the market will still be there on Tuesday, and the market will still be there a year from now. And what will change over time is the quality of information available to you. And with more information, you can even make better decisions. And that's a good place to be. And so when the SpaceX hype machine is in full swing and everybody's asking, did you get in? Did you buy? How many did you buy? My answer is not yet. Relax. Not yet. I'm waiting for the business to prove itself in public. And when it does, I'll be ready. And I'll be buying with data, not with hype. And so to recap the 5 reasons I don't invest in IPOs, using SpaceX as a recent and as a live example is this. Number 1, the opening day pop is not for retail investors. It's already priced in before you can buy. Number 2, research shows IPOs underperform the market for years after listing. Number 3, there's no public track record. You're valuing a sales document, not a business. 4, the lockup expiry creates predictable selling pressure that most people ignore. And number 5, you're not missing out. You can always buy later with better information, and better information is valuable. I'm not saying SpaceX is a bad company. I think I've said this at different points during this video. SpaceX is a great company. I might own it in a couple of years, but when I do, it won't be because everyone was losing their minds about it on day one. When I do buy it, it's because there'll be reasonable performance on the books to value. So if this video has made you think differently about IPOs, subscribe to this channel and follow me for more content. I break down finance and investing topics like this every single week. And let me know in the comments, did you buy SpaceX IPO? Have you bought any IPOs before? Let me know if you agree with my position. Let me know if you disagree. Let's have a healthy debate. And I genuinely want you to know what you're feeling right now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.